ourtinylittlekitchen.com for all your catering and barbecue needs. From on-site catering to taco bars, burger bars, soul food, jerk, and Mexican cuisine. We even roast pigs, available upon request. Visit ourtinylittlekitchen.com for a quote. Our Tiny Little Kitchen.
Vice President Biden, do you support reparations?
Well, let me, since I haven't spoken on this, got a chance. Number one, the reason we're the country we are is because of immigration. We've been able to cherry pick the best from every single continent. The people who come here have determination, resilience. They are ready to stand up and work like the devil. We have 24 out of every 100 children in our school today is Hispanic. The idea that we are going to walk away and not provide every opportunity for them is not only stupid and immoral, but it's bad for America. They are the future of America, and we should invest in them. Everybody will benefit from it, every single American, and you should get used to it. This is a nation of immigrants. That's who we are. That's why we're who we are. That's what makes us different.
We support reparations for black people.
Well, listen. Again, we had over 200 years of slavery. We had Jim Crow for almost a century. We had legalized discrimination and segregation, and now we have segregation and discrimination that is not legal but still exists and is a barrier to progress. We have disparities around housing. We have disparities around education. We have disparities around income. And we have to recognize that everybody did not start out on an equal footing in this country. And in particular, black people have not. And so we have got to recognize that and do something about that and give folks a lift up. That's why, for example, I'm proposing the LIFT Act. Give people who are making $100,000 or less as a family a tax credit, which will benefit and uplift 60% of black families who are in poverty.
So by default, it affects black families, but there's not a particular policy for African Americans that you would explore.
But no, if you look at the reality of who will benefit from certain policies, when you take into account that they're not starting at the same place and they're not starting on equal footing, it will directly benefit black children, black families, black homeowners, because the disparities are so significant. So if we focus on the specific issues that have resulted in the greatest disparities, and we understand that that's part of why we're doing it. Listen, the reality also is this: any policy that will benefit black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No, because whatever benefits that black family will benefit that community and society as a whole and the country. Right?
I would be labeled a Trump supporter. Well, I've already been labeled a Trump supporter, simply because I say, hey, why are we just giving our support away? I'm not saying vote. Why are we giving our support away to then candidate Joe Biden and Kamala Harris? Why are we just giving our support away? Labeled as a Trump supporter because I'm saying, what the hell is this? How do you tell a segment of the population, I'm not going to do anything for you? How do you, when you're asked a question about reparations for everything that black people have been through via the government, the man who's going to be president of the United States goes and starts talking about immigration with passion and, I mean, such a religious fervor that he he sounds believable. I mean, I know if I was an immigrant, I would have voted for him after that performance. He told me, as an immigrant, the case that Joe Biden laid out in the audio clip I just played for you, I would be voting for him myself, right? I'm not mad at that. I mean, hey, candidates should act like that, should exert that much passion and concern when it comes to all groups of people here in the United States. For some reason, black folks just isn't an important segment of the population uh, to politicians or anyone. It is it's troubling that even after that, now those clips I just played, the audio clips I just played, those were well before the election. Well before the election, people have saw those clips, heard those clips, and continue to throw their support. Okay. And if anyone is asking me why I have an issue with this, it is because I'm not represented in this new administration. That doesn't mean we got to have an administration full of black people, okay? Because we all know that doesn't work. You know, just putting a black face out there and saying we've arrived, we made it, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. Just having a black face doesn't work. What I'm saying we're not being represented is, I mean that if you're going to govern, if you're going to be the president of all Americans, then we should be included. We should be included and not in this melting pot that you call the nation of immigrants. Black folks are a protected class. If you do your history, you know that. Black folks are a protected class. But we've never been protected. When it comes time to protect us, even through legislation, it never works. And in the White House, after Biden and Harris is sworn in, everyone will have a representation in the White House and in that administration. Everyone will have representation except for black people. Now, before I move forward, I'll just explain once again what I mean. You heard it from their own lips. Instead of tackling head on the issue of reparations, Joe Biden goes on and says everything. He lays out his plan for immigrants. And Kamala Harris just straight out said, I'm not doing anything specifically for black people. No. But I'm a Trump supporter because I look at that and I listen to that and I say, I have a problem with that. So the problem isn't me. The problem is with people who don't understand that this is a problem. You can't sit and say, well, we got Donald Trump in office and he's a racist and he won't do anything for black folks or he won't. Well, okay, we knew Donald Trump wasn't about anything. And that's why a lot of people didn't support Donald Trump because they knew this. And then you got somebody who running for president and vice president, they outright tell you, hey, man, we're not doing shit for y'all. Matter of fact, we ain't even talking about y'all. We're going to talk about immigration. No one understands what my issue is. no problem. So what's happening right now is we are in a situation where everyone is, you know, um, sitting on the edge of their seats. Everyone is a little scared because they believe that something's going to go down um, as it relates to the transfer of power with Donald Trump. So we're waiting on him to concede and things like that. Now there's no reason, or not a reason, but Donald Trump doesn't have to concede. Okay. Now after on December 14th, that's when the Electoral College meets to give the official vote. And if they decide that they want to vote for Joe Biden and make Joe Biden and Kamala Harris president and vice president, then what happens on June 20th, someone has to be sworn into office. A president has to be sworn into office no matter what. That's in the Constitution. So we need to stop being scared and looking like, oh my God, I don't know what's going to happen. I'll tell you what's going to happen. If Joe Biden wins this election on December 14th through the Electoral College and is sworn in as president and vice president, what happens is after they take that oath, Donald Trump becomes a civilian. And if he decides that he doesn't want to leave office, you know what that makes him? That makes him a civilian who is trespassing on federal property, more importantly, the White House. So I don't know what you're worried about. Military go in and haul his ass up out of there. That's what that is. So whatever the media's putting out, just stop it. Stop it. We got to do better. We got to do better. We got to focus on, what's real here. And that transfer of power is not something that we need to be focusing on right now. Okay? Understand that. Understand that. Now, I don't want to keep you guys long today, but I just want you to know what you've signed up for. This isn't Max talking, okay? Because here at the Max Clark Show, we talk about things that matter. And when we talk about things that matter, we deal with things objectively. We're not dealing with emotion. We're dealing with objectivity. And we've heard it from their mouths that they don't plan on doing anything for us. Anything. So, I'm not here to convert anyone. That's not what this is about. I shouldn't have to convince you that we are in a bad situation. When someone reveals themselves to you, you better believe them. You better believe them. Take their word on that. Take that to the bank. Cash it. That check is good. And Joe Biden and Kamala Harris has told us who they are. In the now. And even in the past, if you didn't believe that in the past, this stuff is on record. This is congressional record. If you don't believe that, then listen to the words that come out of their mouth. They're revealing who they are. And if you choose to continue to support that, then you will be part of the problem when things don't go the way we want them to go. That's what that is. You have to be held accountable for what you do, for the decisions that you make. You have to be held accountable. As a voter, you have to be held accountable. As someone who supports these politicians, you have to be held accountable. Even when they tell you who they are, you have to be held accountable. You see, when things like this happen, and it happens every election, they you got to test the waters. You got to do a temperature check just to see if black folks are still in their place, and I've said this in several of my videos, every time a presidential candidate is running for office, there's always some crazy racist stuff that comes up in their past, and black folks seem to um, forgive them and just decide to support them regardless because we got to get the incumbent out of the White House. And they say, ah, they're still in their place. And then they look forward to the next 4, 8, 16 years. That's what happens. That's what happens. And just because Biden, Kamala Harris are Democrats, black folks feel that they have to vote for them. They feel that they have to vote for them. They feel that they have to support them, even when they tell you that they won't do anything for you. So um, I will keep reporting through this podcast about this administration. Um, and we will continue to hold our state and local leaders accountable. Continue to hold them accountable. That's where real change happens. It's at the state and local levels. And again, the government knows how they're going to deal with us for the next decade, just based off what we did this election cycle. Even after they showed us who they are, we still voted for them. So the government knows what to do with us for the next decade or two. That's how this works. They're thinking ahead. They're thinking ahead. Everyone was just thinking, hey, we just need to get to 2020 so we can vote them out. Yeah, but the government has thought decades beyond. While we're just thinking about tomorrow, they're thinking generations down the line. This is one of the reasons why we will never, just as black people and just as um, people in general here in the United States, we'll never move forward because we're just so concerned about tomorrow and we're not worried about setting up the future. This is why I say what I say, because I'm concerned about my grandchildren, my great grandchildren, that when they go to support someone, they're not picking the lesser of the two evils. That's why. If we don't do our jobs now, this is going to be happening down the line. This is going to be happening down the line. Same thing. So right now, everyone wants to get back to normal, and the normal is, you know, covert racism and hatred. Everyone wants to get back to that. They want to get back to covert racism and hatred, but when Trump was in office, it was the overt racism and hatred. So they said, well, you know, let's get out of this up in your face racism. Let's get back to the politically correct racism. Okay. With that said, guys, love somebody, but more importantly, love yourself. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and you'll get notifications on when I upload videos just like this. All right. Hey, protect your mind and think while it's still legal before you get that right away out of fear. Peace.